don't laugh because we are happy. We're happy because we laugh. William James. Laughter. It's more than a reaction. It is a release. Medicine. A quiet rebellion against the heaviness of life. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It erupts from the soul in times of joy and sometimes even in moments of pain. Laughter is a human declaration that despite it all, we are still here and somehow still whole. There was a season in my life when I forgot how to laugh. The days felt long. The nights felt endless. And joy seemed like a language I could no longer speak. I remember walking through the motions, checking off to-do lists, smiling politely, but inside I felt numb, hollow. And then one day in the middle of my pain, someone made a joke. And I laughed. Not a forced laugh, not a polite chuckle. A real, full-bodied laugh that caught me off guard. It was in that moment I realized laughter doesn't wait until life is perfect. It sneaks in to remind us that we are more than what we're going through. It reminds us that we still have access to joy, even if it's just for a moment. And that moment can be enough to begin again. Laughter is transformational because it shifts energy. It disarms fear. It softens sorrow. It allows us to breathe when the world feels suffocating. When we laugh, even briefly, we invite hope back into the room. You might be carrying burdens no one else sees. You might be battling storms that silence your joy, but hear me. Laughter is not betrayal to your pain. It's a reminder of your resilience. It's your soul saying, I still believe in the light. We live in a world that glorifies seriousness. We're taught to grind, to hustle, to stay focused, to keep our heads down. But somewhere along the way, we lose our lightness. We forget how to find the ridiculousness, the silly, the spontaneous delight that keeps us human. But children know. Watch them. They laugh for no reason at all. They laugh because the wind blew their hat off, because someone made a funny face, because life is an adventure to them and laughter is a natural part of the journey. They remind us that it's okay to be delighted by the ordinary. You deserve to laugh again. You deserve to shake off the layers of stress and anxiety and let your heart dance, even if it's just for a moment. You don't have to wait for everything to be okay. Start where you are. Let laughter open the door. Laughter doesn't mean your problems go away. It doesn't erase grief or undo hardship, but it gives your spirit a break. It resets your nervous system. It whispers to your body that you're still safe, still alive, still capable of joy. Sometimes we fear laughter in dark times. We think it's inappropriate or disrespectful to our struggles, but I've learned that laughter in pain is not irreverent. It's sacred. It's proof that our pain didn't steal our humanity. Have you ever laughed so hard you cried? Or cried so hard your laughter broke through unexpectedly? That's the beautiful intersection where healing lives. Laughter and tears. They're not enemies, they're siblings. They both lead us home. I remember carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Being prosecuted wasn't just a legal process. It was an emotional reckoning. It was a season of sleepless nights, endless worry, and a heaviness that felt like it was crushing me from the inside out. The fear of losing everything I had built. The shame of public scrutiny, the anxiety of not knowing what tomorrow would bring, it all clung to me like a second skin. But in the middle of that darkness, there was a light I didn't expect. It came not from a courtroom, Not from a legal win, not from clarity or resolution. It came from my children, from the sound of their laughter. Sometimes it was over the silliest cartoon, the kind that adults barely notice. Other times it was a toy that made a goofy noise or a joke they told with pride, even if the punchline made no sense. But their laughter, pure, unfiltered, unbothered, pierced through the fog of my sorrow. I would sit on the couch, head heavy with stress, heart burdened with fear, and then I'd hear it. The giggles from the other room. The pearls of joy echoing down the hallway, and something in me would shift. It was like my spirit inhaled for the first time all day, like a spark of oxygen in a room starved of air. Their laughter reminded me of everything that still mattered, everything I still had, everything I was still fighting for. I didn't have to understand the joke. I didn't need to know why the cartoon was funny. All I had to do was listen. And in listening, I found peace. Laughter. Their laughter became my therapy. I closed my eyes and let it wash over me. It softened the sharp edges of my reality. It gave me permission to feel something other than fear. It reminded me that life still held beauty, even in brokenness. Sometimes I'd catch myself smiling, even laughing with them. And for that moment, I wasn't the defendant. I wasn't the headline. I was just mom. Just someone watching her children be children and feeling hope. Their laughter didn't change my circumstances. It didn't erase the looming thread of conviction, but it lightened the load. It gave me strength. It told me without words that I could make it through. You see, laughter doesn't need logic. It needs presence. And my children's laughter brought me back to the present again and again. It reminded me to breathe, to trust, to keep going. In a season where everything felt like it was falling apart, the joy reminded me of what was still holding me together. Laughter is transformational because it shifts energy. It disarms fear. It softens sorrow. It allows us to breathe when the world feels suffocating. When we laugh, even briefly, we invite hope back into the room. You might be carrying burdens no one sees. You might be battling storms that silence your joy. But hear me clearly. Laughter is not betrayal to your pain. It's a reminder of your resilience. It's your soul saying, I still believe in life. The world is hard enough. Don't withhold your joy. Don't save it for later. Sprinkle laughter on everything. Let it coat your days with light. You don't need a perfect reason to laugh. You just need permission. Give yourself that permission today. Allow yourself to find something funny, something light, something silly. Laugh in the mirror. Laugh at the movie you've watched 100 times. Laugh with your friend who always knows how to pull it out of you. Laughter isn't childish. It's courageous. It takes courage to laugh when life is heavy. It takes strength to smile when your heart aches. But it's in those moments that laughter becomes a weapon, a shield, a declaration that sorrow doesn't get the last word. Think about the people who've impacted your life the most. The ones who made you feel safe, the ones who brought healing. I bet they made you laugh. That's not a coincidence. Laughter builds trust. It breaks down walls. It says, you're not alone. We're in this together. Laughter teaches us presence. You can't laugh in the past or laugh in the future. You can only laugh right now. It anchors you to the moment. It makes you look around and say, yes, life is hard. But right now, something beautiful is happening. You're allowed to grieve and giggle, to cry and chuckle, to feel the weight and still choose lightness. Your laughter matters, not just you, but to the world. When you laugh, you give others permission to do the same. You invite others to breathe deeper, to let go, to find healing in joy. So laugh. Laugh loud. Laugh often. Laugh in defiance of despair. Laugh in celebration of your resilience. Laugh because you can. Laugh because you've survived things that were meant to destroy you. Laughter is your return to self. It's your reminder that you are more than your pain. It's your invitation to live fully, freely, and abundantly. Make room for laughter in your life. Make space for joy. Be intentional about finding things that make you laugh. Watch comedies, call the funny friend, tell jokes, dance in your living room. Be ridiculous. Be free. Let laughter be the medicine you didn't know you needed. Let it break down what no other force could move. Let it open your heart again. There's healing in your laughter. There's hope in your smile. There's power in your joy. Don't let the world take that from you. Because in the end, the people who laugh, live. And the people who live, lead. So today, if you do nothing else, laugh. Not because life is easy, but because you're still here. And that in itself is something to celebrate. You've got this. Peace and blessings, Dr. O.